Hello and welcome back to the B Stream. It's the major ESL One Cologne, 4 days of CS to find out who will be crowned CS champions. It's my pleasure to be joined by Jason Kaplan. I'm Alex Machine Richardson and we have got a cracker of a game coming up for you guys. Now we just saw Envy best flip side in a very convincing fashion, 16-3 the score. And if you want to see Envy on form, feel free to watch that, but they were not tested. That was our closing call.
Yeah, I talked to Renegades after. I'm like, yeah, that game was kind of a stomp 16-13, and I think it's Havoc. Or no, Yam was saying, well, what do you expect? You're playing Envious on T-side Inferno. Like, you're not going to get many rounds on them kind of thing. So maybe Flipson, you go back and look at the whole veto and what necessarily went down for that one. But this next match, Luminosity against Kinguin. This will be a good game. This is going to be an insane game.
Yeah, it's going to be absolutely insane, and I can't wait to dig into what both of these opponents have to offer. Let's do it one by one, though, and let's start with the Brazilians. Luminosity are here under a new name. Let's see what they had to say.
Yeah, my feeling about this is that we need to show ourselves and prove that our region has a lot of talent. And because of that, we want to see more tournaments and spots for our region, because we know that we have a lot of teams there that could be competing here as well. So we want to make them proud, and us as well. It's awesome to play in front of a lot of people, and this time we want to be different, it's special, and we want to leave our mark here.
Sounds like they have hope, Jason, coming into this one. A team that a lot of people have kind of said to keep your eye on. You know, you look at all these kind of pre-major threads and pre-major discussion topics, and a lot of things, a lot of kind of recurring similarities are seen where it comes down to, I think you need to remember that Luminosity, ex-Keydstars, ex-Kaboom, you know, you rewind however far, they're always a team that you have to kind of be cautious of.
And they're a team that, as you heard in the video, is not only playing for themselves, they're playing for their country, they're playing for Brazil. They're representing North America here as well. Like, this is a team who has a lot of people behind them. In the Brazilian scene, you don't really seem to hear much about them, but there is so many people that watch games across the board, whether it's League of Legends, Counter-Strike, you name it, they watch it, and they have a lot of pressure on them on that alone. Not to mention the whole fact that we talked about before, they had an unknown factor come into the last major. Not a lot of teams knew exactly how they played, but now they've been in North America for a long time. They played in the ESL, ESCA Pro League, they played in a lot of other tournaments as well. Teams know how they play. The question comes down to, can they win when teams know how they play? Have they adapted enough? Have they kind of set their own game the way they want to really make this work? And we have, you know, Cold Zero coming in for ZQK in the team. And there's an interview with Luminosity, with HLTV, saying that he's brought a lot of good things, a lot of good strategies to the team, and they're feeling really confident. Not to mention all the teams we talked to said they're the team to beat. Yeah,
for sure. I think that Cold roster swap actually can't be kind of covered over, because it's actually, it came as a surprise to me, and I think a lot of people, when you saw that change up, because of course we don't know the inner workings of that team, we don't know relationships, we don't know how that kind of synergy lay. Seeing ZQK get chopped up, he was always a player I felt was quite comfortable in that team. He looked very, very competent. Seeing him taken away, and for the relatively unknown factor of Cold Zero, or we're going to be calling him Cold, seeing him come in, and immediately the first thing I noticed when you saw the interview was he said, the team feels better about this. I don't think it was necessarily a case of ZQK underperforming. More so, it was the same kind of thing as Envious, where they were like, we need to change things like at a dynamic level. Not necessarily gameplay, more so we want to feel better as a team.
I mean, you take like the best 5 players in the world and put them on a team together, they're not necessarily going to be the best team in the world. I mean, you need to have a team you're comfortable with, a team that you really synergize and harmonize well with, and not to mention, you know, not only in-game, but out-of-game. You know, you're living with these guys, you're seeing them 8+ hours a day, you know, you're talking to them. You have to be friends with each other to be good teammates first.
Evidence of that can be found with Cloud9. Those guys with these 2 new additions, you know, your Freakazoid and Skadoodle, everything seems to be gelling so well for them. They've got a real good relationship. You watch any interview and you can tell that's just 5 chums playing Counter-Strike. It really is.
Working out together, which is the funny thing. Like, everyone on that team is getting ridiculously buff.
Yeah, including their manager. They're all doing it together. But, I mean, enough about Luminosity for now. We should look at their opponents. A very exciting team who've kind of risen, smashed together and said, you play good now. And they most definitely have been. Let's look at Kinguin.
Our new coach, Legia, based here in Germany, I would say. He's bringing a lot of different ways to play the game. Aggressive, defensive, and in the middle, it's especially in the middle of the aggressive and defensive playstyle. if we can't play aggressive on a game, we need to do something, and now we have Legia to help us play defensive against them. Our main goal right now is to go through to the playoffs and play at the Lanxess Arena. That would be something that everyone in the team is looking forward to, and it's going to be amazing to play there. And I feel that we're ready to do it and to compete against the best.
It's so clear, you can see there that these are a team that you have to kind of always keep your eye on. You just every time I see that roster, I'm like, damn, like, that's scary.
That's a good-looking roster.
Yeah, good-looking roster. Yeah, okay. In more ways than one, of course. You know, the CS:GO models, but lots has changed for these guys as of late. I think the main factor that you guys are all aware of at home is that there's been both roster swaps in game, but also their coaching staff has kind of mixed up. So the first point that needs to be made is that we've lost Huiten, or SCII, depending on how you're reading or saying it. I mean, my mind was blown when people were talking about Huiten. I was like, who the hell is that? Huiten? He's not playing anymore. No, but SCII or Huiten, here's a loss of him, replacement with Dennis. We saw a massive influx of like successful results once that swap was made. And I think the main point that needs to be made about that is he's the one calling the shots now in-game.
Yeah, so at the offline qualifiers, we talked to the team. I talked to Michael Early beforehand, and he was saying Dennis will be calling in game. It's not the plan for the long run, but we want to try him out as a caller and see if he can handle it. And they did a great job, especially what happened with Delito. And now Legia come in for the team as a new coach for him, kind of giving that old German Counter-Strike sense. I mean, this man's played on mouse sports. You name a German team, I was guaranteed he's been on it at one point or another. But for me, like the real challenge, and you heard Michael talking about it a little bit, is not necessarily their egos, but they can't get ahead of themselves kind of thing, right? They need someone to normalize them and someone to be like, you know, guys, you can have the biggest ego out of game, but if you can't win a damn game, then, you know, you can get the hell out of the team kind of thing. Like, you have to stay focused. And I feel like these five have melded really well together. You know, no one gets too cocky. You know, Michael, that was maybe one of the things why, or one of the reasons maybe he didn't work well with NIP back in the day. But they've been really solid as a team, and they've really come together well these past few months.
Yeah, and I mean, that's something that's kind of come down to that initial factor where people said, can you know, you're all hungry to be an all-star. One of you is going to have to say, no, that's not going to be me. But right now, of course, we are looking at Luminosity, their roster for you. Fallen Steel, Fur, Bolts, and the new man, Cold Zera, as he's going to be kind of being that new factor for them. Intrigued to see how much he can do. And I mean, for me, he's that unknown factor for both us, but also for his opponents. He's going to be coming into this one, maybe mixing things up a little bit. Of course, taking that AWPing role. And they've said he's a very standout individual for them, in their opinion.
Well, I was also, you know, back when ZQK was on the team, him and Fair ran an amazing double-up setup. Fair God is exactly what you should call that man, because he was like the highest stats out of almost every single person over in North America during the ESL USA Pro League. This man is phenomenal. And we talked about the whole double-up setup, or the double-up potential out of a team. One thing Luminosity really banked on was the double-up setup, and when they couldn't get a stable economy, they really struggled.
Yeah, and when you look at their opponents, Kinguin, one name that's going to be mentioned here is Fox. There's a whole lot of negative stigma attached to this man. However, when we were digging around, we actually found that he is a man that Kinguin rely on in terms of statistics, Jason. Yeah,
he's the man to really step up for him. I think it was, I'm trying to remember the exact numbers, but typically when he has like a 1.1 KD or higher, they win 26.7% of the time more than anyone else on the team. So when he performed well, they would win games.
It's more important than anyone else on the team performing well.
Yeah, and when he scored over a 1 KD, they won like 9 out of 10 games. So Fox is like really the man to look forward to. Scream, as you're seeing on your screen as well. He's had some really bad luck in the past, you know, with some teams. He's a phenomenal player. If you guys didn't put him as like the highest headshot rating from Group C for the Pick'em Challenge, you are an idiot. That man is the man to go to if you want to see headshots, and he will tear many faces off this entire tournament.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm just casting my eyes over the 10 players that are about to go head-to-head, and I'm looking at Scream. 66% headshot ratio across 2015. And I mean, the highest over on, let's have a look at the opponents. 51 for Fur is the highest over on his side of things. So there's a big discrepancy there, but that's because Scream has this playstyle that no one can really replicate. He has this playstyle where he does have a huge priority on headshots, both spray downs and, of course, those taps.
And I remember hearing a lot of players talk about, I think it was Hiko, the one I'm trying to cast my mind back to, saying that's actually sometimes not a good thing, the fact that he just clicks. You know, you have to be able to spray, and he was saying that, like, when we go up against them, or teams go up against them, like, all right, well, you know, if he misses those first few shots, well, he's an easy kill because we can spray him down and he can't do that back. If we overrun him with more than one person, he's screwed. But he's adapted his playstyle a little bit more. He's finally started to realize, yes, I need to start spraying a little bit more when the time comes. But you can't deny this man. I mean, I remember watching him do like some aim map kind of thing where he's just like swiping left and right to click on a dot. And it left me stunned. My jaw was wide open because he is an amazing player with his aim. Like, his hand is a perfect extension of exactly what he wants to do out of his mind.
Yeah, and the thing is when you watch his stream as well, he has such a high sensitivity. His mouse mat is essentially like a postage stamp. Like, like it's so small, and he has such pinpoint precision with that high sensitivity, something you often attribute to the lower sensitivity players, but still very precise aim from him, and we can't hung up on him too much, is what I was trying to say. It's because, of course, their opponents, we have to look at results as well. Where have they been? What have they achieved? And I think the biggest achievement so far for these guys, under, well, 4 of the 5 members, was, of course, their Pro League Online. Managing to secure that second place under Cloud9 was a big achievement for them. Coming through those online stages, moving to North America, taking that risk, taking that leap of faith, and managing to acquire second was big for them. And alongside that, you kind of look, where did they go from there? Managing to get 5th, 6th in the offline stages of that one, not as inspiring, but losing out 2-0 to Fnatic can't be sniffed at.
Yeah, it's Fnatic. Like, I mean, what do you really expect up against him? You know, I really want to see how well they can perform when it comes to a major like this. Like, last time they got, you know, a Legend team, you know, they're obviously one of the teams that were invited back because of how they performed. They went up against Virtus Pro. They had some really close games, Overpass going into overtime. But keep in mind, they're playing against the home crowd favorite. Like, that's really tough to do. But I think they've, you know, the game in-house they've had, they've adapted really well. Yeah, a lot of the strategy has been given away, but they know how to play. And I think it's going to come down to this map veto as well when we finally get into it.
Yeah, and I think maps is an important factor looking at Kinguin as well. A team that they have had kind of a lot of problems losing to a lot of teams. Like, it's not very necessarily, sometimes you see a pattern emerging where a team constantly comes up against the same opponent and constantly struggles. I mean, evidence of that can be found against NIP, where they just seem to constantly bash heads with Fnatic. But here, though, Kinguin and Luminosity, 2 teams that are relative strangers to one another, not played at all against each other yet. This will be their first taste of what each other have to offer, and I think it's going to come down to that preparation. We said before, Jason, that this is the kind of the beauty of coming into this one, is these maps, these first few best of ones are the ones that the teams have known about. They can see who they're going up against beforehand, and that preparation can most definitely be present. Who's going to have done it more, though?
Well, we'll find out. And just reminding us at home and how the whole major's working in terms of groups, because it is a little bit different than the other majors that have happened before. We have a little bit of a different system when it comes to the losers match. So basically, the loser of the winners match, whoever they played against in their first initial match, will be shuffled out of the group. So for instance, we had Envious beat Flipside, and we're going to have this game happening as well. So let's just say Luminosity wins, right? So it's Envious versus Luminosity in the winners match final. Say Envious beats Luminosity. That means Kinguin, who lost in the first match, will be rotated out of this group and put into another group, and someone new will come in to play against Flipside in the losers match.
Right, exactly.
Because Flipside would maintain the group.
Yeah, they would stay in it. So it's a structure so that they don't get knocked out by the same team twice. Yep. That's the entire kind of reasoning behind it, the justification behind it, and we're going to be interested to see who does get knocked down and kind of shuffled around. It does mean that you there's a little bit of unpredictability. You don't know who you could possibly be facing multiple times, and that keeps things interesting for us at home and the viewers.
It rewards
the players.
It rewards the individual teams that know how to prepare well and play the map that they want. We are going to see Overpass. Oh, I'm excited for this. I'm actually really excited for this. I'll get to in a second, but it makes it so teams who play their own game and don't anti-strat, in particular for one team, it'll favor them more. So it's really cool to see, because that's the kind of Counter-Strike you want to see happen. I mean, yeah, it's nice to see teams who prepare really well into a game, but you want to see how they can adapt on the fly.
And we'll see how they adapt going into this map. Look at those bans as well. Dust2 and Inferno taken away by the Brazilian side, and Kinguin opting to take away Mirage and Cobble. You're saying, of course. No surprises for you, yeah.
I mean, you know, what were they? Well, Kaboom playing against Fnatic, ClutchCon, I think it was. Or it was MLG, one of the two, and they beat them. And that's what they really stormed onto the scene, beating Cloud9 as well. Mirage is a strong map for them. But that kind of worries me at the same time, right? So, like, say, you know, you're this one team that's really good on a certain map. you know, who have been at the top of the entire UCS scene.
You ignore it.
You don't really prepare as much on it. You kind of leave it there because you know you're generally strong on the map, right? And teams veto it away from you so often that you don't have the chance to play it. So this map, I mean, I would think that they wouldn't have prepared too much. Obviously, they prepared a little bit on it, but I think they would have focused on maybe their weaker maps. And this might be, you know, right up their alley. Overpass, it's going to be an interesting game. Because they've only played it a couple of times throughout the entire year so far. Offline once, where they lost, and online 3 times where they won every single time. So it's not a bad record for Luminosity. And on the side of Kinguin, they've played it offline 3 times, lost only once. So they're 2-1 on it. But online, they are 2-1.
So, I mean, for this, I think the main point that needs to be made is that, you know, if you haven't prepared, like if you know that teams know you're good at Mirage, it's something that I think Luminosity are well aware of. That's what they're kind of focusing on at this point. It's the same. The same can be said for Renegades. It happens exactly the same time with them, whereby everyone knows that Cache is their most preferred map. It's the highest win rate. It's the map that Cache, if you're Australian. But yeah, exactly. That's the point that they've made, and they've said, well, you know what? Everyone's going to be taking it away from us. We have not really touched it too much. It's the same can be said for Luminosity. Going into Overpass, though, it's going to be intriguing to see how this one transpires. And I mean, Jason, we regularly see CT sides kind of dominate here, and I think it very well may be time for us to get on into the action.
All right, so Luminosity going to be on the CT side, Kinguin on the T side, and like you're saying, the CT side relatively strong on this map. I want to see how the teams are going to hold it, though. We've seen some really aggressive plays out of some teams on the CT side, pushing up towards Fountain, and, you know, kind of speaking that we do have that 3-man stack towards the A site.
Again with the double kit, though. It's something we were seeing time and time again. Actually, I was talking to Henry G about this. He's saying on the pistol round, you only really need 1. 2 is a little bit of an interesting one, but made that choice, and now looks like the T side are on the rampage, charging forward on the warpath towards this A site, but the CTs are there. It's going to come down to aim then, as what numbers have most definitely been determined. Plenty of time, but already Rain finds the head of Fur. Here comes the response, though. Bolts his nade, 300 well spent as it lands into the top pocket of Dennis.
There's only 1 smoke as well, and they're going to go back. They're going to look towards B, maybe, or maybe try to pull a little bit of a fake. They do smoke off towards the stairs, but you can see they're in connector. They're looking to go straight in towards B, where Bolts will be the only man defending, and that double kit it might come out really well, but they've lost all the utility. All they have is decoys, and Bolts, can he hold on to this? They're going to come charging straight through.
Yeah, Bolts has no problem on towards short. Don't forget the backup is there, though, in the form of Steel. He's over in upper. Bomb going in, so that's going to be time kind of set upon the CTs, but they have a little bit of utility. You see throwing out that nade, trying to find something, but Fox is in the trade-off, and he gets it onto Bolts. Now a 3v3. Health pool's similar as well. Michael Ailey holding towards water, but I don't know how much Steel can do from this position. Back and forth, it's Scream after all. He should be able to find that head, but doesn't. And Makalele's doing it for him. Fallen, now down and out, and it's going to be Makalele again. He swings around from short. Scream wraps it up, and it's an easy finish for Kinguin as they pick up that first round. A slight cheer comes from the All-Stars, and they're going to be happy to put that one on the board early.
And that's one thing I actually like about Overpass and Cache in particular, is the fact that you can kind of throw smokes, a set execute towards a site, and rotate towards the other one immediately, and catch teams off guard. That's where this map gets really tricky, and where it comes down to having a very smart in-game leader and a team that can read the other team well. You know, you need to realize if it's a fake or if it's actual commit on towards a site. And you saw, they rotated everyone towards A, they lost control towards B. Instead of rotating anyone from B, flanking over towards A, they kind of sat all towards CT spawn, and that was really, really unfortunate for them. And when we've seen this position before, what was it, Penta up against
Penta's
SK?
Tri-boost, though. This is actually just using the jump scout.
Yep.
It's a very smart positioning as well. Gives them a whole lot of information very, very safely. Of course, jump scouting being a little bit of a kind of low-risk strategy.
And the thing is, there's a 4-man stack over towards this this B site with the 2-man and then Cold Zera just trying to hold, just trying to gather information instead of getting a little bit too aggressive. But Steel and Cold have invested into the head armor, Fallen investing just into the USP and a nade, so only buying up the grenade to really manage his economy with. But I like how Kinguin are playing this one really slow. They realize this is a major, guys. Like, we don't want to get too aggressive, too cocky. We want to win these rounds when we know we should. And with 48 seconds left to go on the clock, they're going to be moving over towards this B site. They don't have really much to work with in terms of smokes. They do have a couple flashes on Rain, so look for him to be the real man to help his team enter the site.
It's just a battle for intel. I think Fur's going to be the first one to kind of gather some sort of information, desperate to find something with the Deagle, but no, that's going to be lying on the floor now as it's Steel who takes over the mantle with 2 with the CZ. That's huge. Fox finally chimes in with 1 in response, but this is a 3v3, and Steel trying to do more, but Fox a little too sly. As it's going to be now down to the scout of Cold Zera to make an impact. Not looking likely, as he does actually find a bullet into the chest of Fox, but it's all wrapped up by Kinguin. They managed to bring it home. Didn't look at the neatest, the tidiest, but they do manage to deal with that force from Luminosity. And now it's just going to be that very solid P250 eco.
See, that's the kind of executes I like to see out of teams. Like, yes, there wasn't a lot of smokes to really use, but the thing is, they executed with like 30 seconds left instead of leaving it down to like 20 seconds or 15 like we saw just in the game prior with Flipside, because they realized when we get in the site, you know, Steel, who picked up 2 quick kills with the CZ, you have to kind of account for that time you're going to lose trying to actually get the kill onto him and get the bomb down. So well done by Kinguin. They do have 3 AKs, able to salvage the one from last round that they lost. And Michael just going to be sitting with a Tech 9, so looking to maybe invest the op over onto this man. Again, you know, Fox and Michael are both fantastic oppers, but I believe Michael has been the one to take the mantle for that.
See what coldzera can do. He's in prime positions, maybe just take one, but no. Scream having absolutely none of it, and there is a heavy presence over towards Long. Rotate from the CTs is coming in, and they're just going to be desperately trying to take a couple of weapons away. Make this as expensive as they can for Kinguin. Already Makaleli at the front with just that Tech 9. He can shred through those unarmored CTs with that pistol, and he's going to do just that. Steel doing the flashbang dance does get put to bed, and now he looks like he's going to potentially find a second. Oh my god, he thought he did it. Finally swings around to finish his job, and teammates are right behind him as the bomb goes in as well. Could not have been better for Kinguin in that round. Yeah,
clean round. Exactly what they wanted to see, but here we go into the gun round. This is what we really want to have happen for Luminosity. They pick up the op. Fallen's going to be the one carrying that first team at the moment, and the rest on M4s. They don't have a lot of grenades to work with, though. Not a lot of flashbangs. They're sitting on 2 in 1 smoke and no kit. This is going to be tough, and this has to be a sign for Luminosity to be aggressive in the beginning. They have to push up towards Fountain, catch him out, pick up an early kill, and take that man advantage and fall back.
Yeah, let's see what Fallen can do. He's not going for the aggressive party peek. He doesn't want to take that risk, and I mean, understandably so. When you've got such limited utility, you don't have that backup plan. You don't have the smokes, the flashes to get out of toilets if you take that risk. And now, T-side are going to let things slow down a bit. They think Fallen He's got a lot on his plate. He needs to be able to pick this one up. They've got the boost as well, so a lot of coverage towards middle. They're not going to be letting the T-side take control of that, which is something we see more often. Yeah, they get up a lot of long control, and I think Fallen realizing how slow Kinguin are going to be pushing, he's going to rotate back now and gather information. There's no one there, but look at this. They're going to overrun Fur. He's got to hit his shots here with Cold. He's looking to maybe back away. There's a minute left on the clock, and Rain, Fox, and Michael are pushing through. I think they spot him out. Coldzera's down to 6 health. How on earth does he be chunked down so low, so fast, and now he's going to be tested? Fortunately, Fur is there to babysit. What was that? The double. Makaleli and Fox brains splattered across Overpass, and now Dennis and Scream are wondering where it all went wrong. 3 seconds, 3 frags, and now Scream and Dennis starting the offensive towards B. Not going to happen though. Still finds Scream, and I think Dennis realizes that this has gone too perfectly for Luminosity. coldzera was shrunk down to 6, but that's the only real leeway they found. And this is going to be a very solid round, considering the risk they took with the buy. I mean, they had no utility. Yeah, Dennis is not going to get much off of that. And remember I said earlier about, you know, Fair, they call him Fair God. You see right there, that spray control in the transfer was phenomenal. 2 quick kills in the matter of a second. And then you had Fallen from the side to pick up the kill as well to stop them pushing through the restroom. A great hold. And that's what we want to see out of Luminosity. If they wanted to take this gun round, they need to get aggressive in the beginning, get that early control, take it away from Kinguin because they've been playing so slow, and punish them for it. First round on the board for Luminosity, and we're seeing Kinguin buy up again. Yeah, and they did it with no utility. I cannot emphasize just how amazing that is, considering it's Overpass CT side. You see time and time again just how important and reliant you can be on smokes, mollies, flashes, delaying the T side. They did it without. Now they have the entire arsenal at their disposal, and you're seeing that molly towards Monster doing exactly what the doctor ordered. Now though, Scream, the headshot machine, is on the hunt, on the prowl, and 3 Ts are there as well. He's not going to be able to find the head because Fox is doing it for him. That's 2 CTs down, and they're going to be storming into this site now. Still on the hunt, Rain does it as well, and this is looking like a mirror opposite of what we saw just the round prior. Fur and Fallen making a decision. Do we save? Yes, we do. They're on the run. I don't think Rain's going to let them, as he is most definitely just smashing them down with just the Tech 9. Steals the rifle. That's 3 in that round, and he didn't even need a rifle to do it. Yeah, and we were saying before with the end of his Flipside game, is that Flipside kept like showing their hand when they executed. They said that the set executes very scripted. You see Kinguin there, what did they do? All right, no flashes, no soaks, just walks 3 straight through Monster, enter the site easily. I mean, that's what catches teams off guard, because you expect the smokes, you expect the flashes, you expect to have the read on them, and counter it with counter flashes, smokes, nades, whatever it may be. Yeah, and seeing Fox get 2 entry frags as well. He strolled into that site and took a double, just like that. Click of the fingers, drop of the hat, and now it looks like we're going to be seeing a very tagged up Makaleli hunting for something onto Fallen. It's going to be a traded out nicely. That's 2 quick connections with the Sky. Finds a 3rd as well. He's done damage, and that's really solid when you know you've got Steel with the CZ on site. And if Steel and Bolts can hold Kinguin back long enough, Fair's already rotated over towards Fountain. He could go towards T-Spawn if he wants to, but Kinguin are playing this one still, realizing we're already tagged up very heavily. Let's make them think that we could potentially going back towards A. But Steel, he's been in this position before. He picked up 2 kills last time on the 2nd round. Can he do it again? He's only going to have to hit the heads. That's all that's going to be there for him. And he's going to find one. Surely that's not two. He could have done it again. One down to just 8 points of health. It was Fox. His teammate managed to make the damage, falling with the scout, making that look easy.
Fair's behind him. He's going to spot them out as well. This could be the perfect flank. 50 seconds to go. They're taking too long. And Kinguin are going to get caught off guard.
Nobody's watching it. That 8 damage is going to be enough. coldzera found one with the deagle. Fell with the double. And that should never have happened. Nothing in their hands on Luminosity. And now everything as they turn that round on its head.
Oh, Fair, he took so long to rotate through, but what he did at the end, it mattered, picking up that kill on that 8% HP. A great job, Kinguin again. They took too long to enter that site. They lost most of their utility to make that one happen, but Steel, again, he picks up 1 kill. He gets the ding onto another, but the most important thing he did there was stayed alive as well. He sat in pit and just waited for his teammates to come in, delayed. It kept Kinguin from pushing towards site. You would imagine if Steel died, Kinguin's going to be there in a snap.
Look at Fur, suddenly finding a little bit of confidence as he goes for the peak. He hasn't done that before. But kind of reminding the T side that they can go aggressive as well. Expecting an early push, and actually that spray a couple of seconds too early, but he has the right idea, and I think he's going to be holding this angle perfectly towards restrooms. The T side taking their time this time. Does have support in the form of Fallen. As nades raining out, and it's going to come down to what these 2 Fs can do. F for Fur, ready on waiting on the restrooms.
It's going to be an easy, or should be an easy 1v1 for Fair there, as he does get some backup from the Molotov as well. But they still have 3 men rotated through. Fair's still sitting towards restrooms, falling there to back him up, and Cold watching towards long. This op is going to be instrumental to delay and stop this push through, but they have to be careful. Fox and Michael Lilly have finally shoved it towards long. Fallen needs to pick up a kill quickly. They've called for the rotating for bolts. Kinguin are going to have a very difficult time to penetrate the site. I don't know if they can pull this one off. As you can see, Luminosity are getting aggressive. They're pushing into this team. Kinguin are not going to expect it.
They've abandoned the site. 3 members make it 4, charging forward, and now Fallen going to make his presence known. Fur is there to wrap around as well, and the T side have their trousers around their ankles, wondering, well, how on earth are they all around toilets? And now Makalele's left 1 versus 3. He realizes every angle is going to be held. 20 seconds. Molotov hunted down, but he does catch Fur midair, backing away with 54 points of health. And he's wondering if he's going to be allowed to do it. And actually, hell, he's going for it. He's going to try and find another frag. Does dart onto the site, hoping Fallen's going to be checking it. He is, but Fallen prevails. And that's the 3rd for Luminosity.
Yeah, so, I mean, we're going to see him fall back there for a second, but he knew Fallen kind of had the sound to know him doing that. So instead of dying after the time and losing the op, he died within time to keep his economy going, to stay within the team and not kind of be behind. So it was a smart play by him. I mean, you kind of look at like, oh, why did he go in? Why did he not save? It was a smart move. It was well done by him. But Luminosity, we've seen that happen actually at the European qualifiers. Instead of falling back to site and defending from 2 angles, they push together in force in 1, which is towards restrooms, and they allow them to take long. Because of that way, they get the early challenge, they get the kills, and they turn around with a man advantage.
You said before, though, they are giving a lot of long control to the T side, and that's interesting to see if, Kinguin can punish that. How often will you see a T side use long as that main route into a site? Then again, we'll come back to it, because Makalele, he's just gone and got himself a rifle and a kill. Fur, the man now sleeping with the fishes. Fallen trying to make an impact, and he's going to do just that with the nade. Or not, as he just shaves 1 damage off of Makalele. Unarmored as well.
This is a really risky spot, too, because they can see his gun from here. He's just trying to catch the glimpse of the head of Makalele. But he doesn't know if anyone's towards long. Rain's going to be the man to challenge out on that one. He's got to hope coldzera can help him out and get out of his position when he does need with maybe a nice timed flashbang. But it's only on Steel at the moment. They don't have a lot of utility, a lot of grenades to work with in this round. The bomb is still sitting towards B, where Steel's the only man to defend. So this is Kinguin throwing a little bit of a fake towards him towards A. But Makalele, with shots like that, can definitely make this one stick.
Hell, this could be a 3rd, and it's going to be Makalele, the impact fragger. 3 with that AK snatched away from Fur, and now it looks like Steel and Bolts going to be piecing this one together. Tries to find the final frag onto Scream, but not going to happen. They're hunting him down, and now hell, Bolts, he's got it all to do. He's found 2. Scream incredibly low, but that's not going to stop him planting. And I think if Bolts had just gone for that bang, he might be able to take Scream out of this one. Gets away to safety now, and this could very well be the round for Kinguin. It shouldn't be. They have absolutely no reason to get away with this one.
Oh, no!
They're not going to check it. Scream! He's pushed up too far. Oh, but he stops it. That could have been it, but still has a hope of it. Pushing on towards Dennis. He gets it, and Bolts brought down to 8 points of health, but still manages to acquire the round. Kinguin testing them to their max there.
4 kills, and if he just stuck that, he would have had the defuse anyways. But he's like, you know what? I can get the defuse later. I can get the 2 kills on top of that. Wow, well done by him. Tying things up at 4 apiece. We have a game in our hands, so this is what we expected. And again, we mentioned so many times during the entire show so far that we've heard so many good things about Luminosity, so many good things about how they're performing in their boot camp, and I think they're bringing that here today.
Yeah, absolutely. It seems to be time and time again. Oh, gee, I was going to say Fallen goes aggressive, and he's going to do it again this time. How far does he go, though? It's maybe a connector peek, maybe a peek towards Fountain. He's going to go towards Fountain. His teammate did this just the round prior, and here it's going to be a flash waiting for him. Doesn't stop him, as he doesn't quite connect the shot, but he wasn't, didn't have his vision obscured. And now this round's going to take a bit more of a standstill pace. You know, we talked about long control. Look what Fair is. Look what he's done this time.
Well, they're feeling confident enough for Fair and Cold to push up because of Fallen in that early game, or the early pressure towards Fountain. By seeing them not cross over, he's like, all right, well, we have this control. Let's send men here, and you can see on the minimap, they're already rotating through. Fair's going to be coming behind towards Connector Scream. Going to pick up the headshot there. But there's 3 men on towards the B side. They know the bomb is over in this direction, and Cold, he can pick up the pace if he wants to. But because he's playing this one so slow, and well, the reason he's playing this one so slow is because Kinguin hasn't given away too much towards B yet. With the Molotovs and everything raining through, Cold's going to pick up the pace, and Kinguin, they're going to be in trouble. Steel picking up one.
That's going to be a potential second. It is, as McAlady and Dennis are down. Bolts does the same. 2 doubles for the 2 players. Fallen is there to wrap it all up. And another big round from Luminosity as they are making their presence known. 4 in a row for the CT side. After, of course, the initial 3 gathered by Kinguin. They're starting to look a little flimsy. And again, we're going to be seeing the Force come in. It's going to be Tech 9s and Armor. Let's see where they choose to go with this one. Overpass, a map where that B site is super vulnerable to an armored Tech 9 side. They did it with a buy. Can they do it with the Tech 9s?
Looks like they're going to be going for just that. Well, it looked like they were
heading
in that direction.
Yeah.
But again, they could go for like the non-scripted execute towards a site, especially with the Tech 9 and the Armor buy-up. But Fallen's going to be challenging on long, so he's going to be able to spot them crossing. Dennis, Fox, and Rain have headed over towards restrooms where Fair's pushed up. He's got to be very careful. He doesn't want to lose this gun, most importantly, knowing they're up against a force buy like this.
And knowing what Makaleli did with his AK just a few rounds prior, as he has got players on either corner. He's going to go aggressive. This is actually really smart. He's going to be able to find the bomb and Fox. It's a second. This could very well be a third. And it should be. Scream still kicking for now. Last couple of bullets. And the frag. And neat and tidy. The Brazilians acquire the 6th.
I like the way Fair played that too, because of he pushed up towards restrooms, right? And he heard them coming through, you know, the back side of him. So he turns around, gets the kill, and then when he sees him flanking over from the other side, he pushes up a little bit just so he's not in kind of line of sight of the guy towards restrooms, picks up another couple of kills, stays alive, and just shuts them down completely. 6-4 for Luminosity. Fallen still on the op on the scoreboard. 10-7 for Fair. 8-6 for Bolts. On the other side, though, Dennis being relatively quiet at 2-8.
Yeah, Dennis, of course, the in-game leader. Maybe sometimes the in-game leader effect is there on the scoreboard, but looks like that Molotov's going to be perfectly placed from Steel. Slows him down. I think they're pushing over it. They are. They made that decision, the executive decision, to try and push straight onto the site, get some early presence, but a flashbang pushes them straight on back.
That's why counter flashes are so damn important when you see a team hitting a site. You just throw a flashbang to completely stop them, throw a spanner in their works, but here we go, the push is coming in towards B. A lot of smokes are being placed, but Steel in the prime position to shut them down. Steel
lingering in the smoke. The bomb goes in. The T side have got everything going for them, and that flash is going to delay his approach towards the site. And Molly as well. They're trying to find him, but Steel through the smoke does take that AWP out of the hands of Makaleli. Now a 4v4. Level playing field, but the bomb is ticking, and it's going to be what Bolts can do. It's everything. Rain now down, and they're actually kind of locked out of the site. The CT side have kind of grabbed as much control as they can. Numbers now favor them, but I think that defuse is coming in. Cold Zero was holding it. 3, 2, not going to happen. Fox through the smoke. And that's going to be a round for Kinguin that there was much needed. I think that's going to be their first in about 5 rounds. It is 5 rounds in a row for the CTs. Finally, Kinguin respond.
That's a little bit rough too, because Scream wasn't in a position to rotate towards short quick enough. But luckily, the rest of his teammates there towards long to really help out. And Luminosity might have been able to pick that up if they got the bomb maybe a second or 2 earlier. But either way, Kinguin, they finally do pick up another round after being on a downward spiral. Now the question comes to, can they string together a couple more rounds? They've been hitting this B site quite often. I'm looking actually over the course of 11 rounds, and 7 of the rounds so far, they've gone B. Definitely a very unique thing for Kinguin when A is typically the site to hit on with the set smokes. And Fair, he should not win that trade. Never should he win that trade, especially considering they were anticipating it, despite being given long more often than not. Now Fallen is the one on the hunt. Does he expect the numbers to his left? I think he's got a teammate there. The flash is going to be perfect. Oh, this is beautiful. Steel is going to push around. The flash wasn't good enough, though. I'm completely unblinded by that. And Dennis, I think he maybe caught a glimpse of Scream as well, at least heard him. So he knows there's at least 2, and Fallen has that cross on lock. So he's basically made this now 2v4, because he knows exactly where 2 of those members are. And until he catches them crossing, and again, that flash is going to enable them to cross. They don't choose not to, though. 50 seconds and he doesn't connect the shot. Well, that was really close, but they have everyone on the side of Kinguin pushing in towards me. There's a 3-man stack here, and Bolts, he's just going to stay alive. He's just going to back away and delay for time. 40 seconds still on the clock, so the bomb can rotate back towards A. Fallen, he spotted him out, but he doesn't connect the shot. Brings him down to 35. That's now it's going to be... Oh, that's beautiful. Makaleli tried to challenge, and he gets put in his place. Bolts connects through the smoke as well. Scream's going to be kicking himself. As now Dennis and Rain trying their best to find a way into the site. They're low, Bolts and Fur. 48 points of health between them. But another 2 stand at full. Cold and Fallen. Cold, the new man, and 15 seconds left. T-side, I think they realize that this is going to be
A bit of a push in vain. 10 seconds, still no entry. This is most definitely a guarantee for the Brazilians. Bolts and Fallen ensure it. 7-5 then the score on the CT side here on Overpass. This is the major. This is our second game here on the B stream. And already you guys are viewing in your masses. We're breaching numbers that we wouldn't have dreamed of for the final not too long ago.
And Bolts in that round on 6 HP picked up 2 kills. Gets screamed through the smoke, gets a second on top of that. I do want to point out one thing though, is that you're seeing Fallen be so comfortable towards Monster at B. He's challenged out against the likes of Michael before with a scout versus op and was able to beat him in that duel. And it seems like Michael's lost a little bit of confidence when it comes to that. Maybe send him over towards long a little bit more. But again, the Molotovs, the utility, every time we talk about this, when you get that stable economy, you can stop these rushes that has allowed Kinguin to get a couple of rounds on the board.
Yeah, it's so good to see as well that, like, how many things would have gone wrong if those Molotovs, those utility plays were not in place. Now, the round's going to take a standstill once again. A little bit of armor, a little bit of pistol, just the rifle for Scream. Understandable putting it in the hands of the human turret, but whether or not that's going to be enough is a different question. Actually, you see Steel anticipating that boost. You see that boost time and time again now, where you can get intel, get your eyes over towards barrels and try and find an entry. But it doesn't look like they're going to be planning it. Instead, it's Makaleli just jumping up, trying to get some sort of information, some sort of count. There's Bolts. He's locked in that corner. He cannot escape, but fortunately Fur's there to completely keep him. He's coming from behind. He's done this time and time again, both Rifle and 5-7. And now Scream, the only one to find a damage on towards the side. They're all so low. He's going to mop up with the USP. Fur just snatching 3 frags that round, and Cold is going to end it as well. Very solid, very comfortable, just losing Bolts in that exchange. And Luminosity are looking very comfortable on the CT side. I mean, what would you expect to see good numbers for Kinguin? Where are they going to be comfortable on the T side? Can they aim for like a kind of 10-5, 9-6? Is that going to be something they can work with?
I think it's definitely something they can work with. Just the fact you have Michael on the team and Fox, who can definitely op really well. But the thing is, like, you can tell they're kind of running out of strategies. Like the fact that they've been going B 9 out of the 13 rounds so far, and the fact they've been shut down a majority of those times, and not having anyone just kind of watch Luminosity getting aggressive. Like, they don't have anyone punishing Luminosity for pushing up towards long. Fallen. I mean, that's what this man can do. He can hit shots like that all day long. But if you don't punish, Luminosity for getting aggressive and pick up that kill, they're going to start playing like they have no respect for you and pick up rounds like this. Like this, it should honestly be a little bit of a closer scoreline than we currently see, but still 8-5 is not bad at all.
Yeah, and I mean, we've seen time and time again, you see a CT side pick up double digits, get to 10, a 10-5 half, and comebacks happen. Most definitely a possibility, and Fur is going to be doing a great job on towards Fox. Dennis trades it out. Something that actually we've seen the T-side struggle with a little bit with these trades, and actually, oh, what is Fallen doing? He's going aggressive, and he snatched another frag. Now all onto Rain. That shouldn't have happened. He's taken 3 this round, and Rain, they know exactly where he is. He is going to have a chance. What on earth is going on? They're hunting him down like a dog, and he is taken out of the equation. 9-5 then the score, as the Brazilians are hungering for that 10th. I think we're going to be seeing a timeout called by Rain.
Yep.
So in that final round of the first half, looks like they want to catch their breath, or maybe, just maybe, it's a technical.
That confidence. Now, I think this is going to be like maybe a talk. It's the final round of the first half. They want to get like a 9-6 scoreline on the board to be looking a little bit stronger. I mean, we can see them actually straight ahead of us with Legia right behind them, helping coach them through. But Luminosity, the rumors have been true so far. I want to see them on the T side to be, to see a little bit more of their strategy, kind of their execution. But everything we've heard about them being this insanely strong team, the team to beat through boot camp has been proven correct, and they're looking phenomenal.
Yeah, for sure. They're looking very comfortable. And actually, we talked about that new addition, saying he was the unknown factor. So far, sitting at the bottom of the scoreboard. It has to be said that doesn't, it has to be taken with a pinch of salt. Your first major, you're going to have, a little bit of nerves, a little bit of everything coming into this one. You're wanting to prove everyone at home that you are the right fit for the team. And I'm sure this is just going to be a case of the team behind him letting him know that everything he's doing now is good. You need to keep someone's mindset comfortable. And so far, I mean, look at that, 9-5. Can they pick up the 10th as well? Very important if they want to keep this one comfortable. And sounds like lots of action going down on that other stream. Yep. If you guys are interested as well, there is another game transpiring over on the A stream. ESL_CSGO. It's going over on Train. And it's TSM Renegades looking comfortable. 4-0 to the Australians. Yep,
they are looking great. And, we had the opportunity to see them actually playing in our studios, and they seemed very confident come into this. And, keep in mind, if they win this, they're one step away from getting out of groups for the first time for them.
That would be insane.
That would be.
Seeing Renegades, play more than 2 games at a major would be great.
Well, think about their brethren team as well, Immunity here. If they can see Renegades do it, they could potentially pull it off. But as we're seeing here, Luminosity, The reigning legends from last season going down to Virtus Pro. Still remember that game on Overpass and how close it was and how insane the crowd was on top of that. Up against Kinguin, the team who's made for the major. The team has had individually some damn good success when it comes to that. Michael getting second with NIP back at DreamHack 2014, where LDLC ended up winning. Well, it looks like the pause is still sticking through, and I'm 99% sure it's not technical because I don't see any of our admins behind them. So this is them just talking things over, trying to decide what they want to do coming into this last round.
Yeah, I mean, all headsets are on. I think Rain would have made it more obvious if it was technical, but still. Crucial round for them. How is their economy looking as well, Jason? So is this kind of is that the extent?
It's like nothing. They just got pistols and armor. They really didn't have much for this round. And you know, the whole reason of taking like a pause at this point is to talk about their CT side a little bit. I want to say, but also most importantly, you know, if you're in a game and you're playing and you see a 9-6 scoreline, that's less daunting than a 10-5, right? Like seeing 2 digits compared to 1, it's completely different in your mindset. And you know, between these two teams, mindset is a big key when it comes into this. You know, if you look at, you know, kills and deaths across the board, Fox at 8 and 11, Michael only won actually even at 10 and 10, and Dennis at 5 and 11. But we talked about Fox, you know, typically when they win games, when he's at a 1.1 KD or higher, he's more impactful. Or he's like 26.7% more likely to win with him than any other person on the team having a higher rating.
Yeah, and I mean, while we're talking about, you know, numbers and Fox, we saw him getting a couple of entries charging in towards B, you know, just that double that he snatched away not too long ago. He actually has the, I think it's the highest entry frag rating over on Kinguin. You know, you have players like Makalele, Scream, all kind of competent individuals in finding entries both with the AWP and rifle. However, he sits there with the highest rating. So, I mean, he's definitely a player that you have to keep your eye on. Both with Tech 9 armor and a rifle, because he's been doing it with both.
I mean, the thing about Kinguin is we can see insane moments of brilliance out of them. Like, think back to when they played against Virtus Pro not too long ago. I think it was at Face It, actually, Stage 2 finals, where they 16-0'd them on cash. Like, since when the hell do you ever see a 16-0 ever happen in professional, you know, kind of scene? You know, the last one I can think of in my head besides that one was when Renegades helped qualify through beating Neckbreak 16-0 on Inferno. So it's definitely something you don't see often. They have those moments of just fantastic play. And, you know, T-side's always hard to do when you're a newer team. You know, it's always hard to kind of perform well because it comes down to really, you know, synergizing and harmonizing well with your team. CT side's usually where, you know, a brand new team can really work well together. Yeah, for sure. And actually, talking of 16-0s, how insane that result is. I've got a very, very cool statistics provided by HLTV. They did a big kind of numbers stack whereby we saw CSGO result distribution. If you caught your glimpse of that one, it was insane. So across the board, online and offline, you have a 10%. 10% of the time you see a 16-0 between 16-0 and 16-3. At the major, that number is 12. So I mean, 12% of the time you see 16-0, 16-3. At a major, though, we have never seen it. Online, just a little bit. But at a major, we have never seen a 16-0. And it's time, though, for us to jump back into the action. Fortunately, we are back. And let's see what Kinguin can do off the back of that timeout. 1 round separating them from the first half. And let's see if they can stave off those double digits. And again, aggressive on long. 3-man stack. Like, this is also the opportunity for Luminosity to talk things over when Kinguin goes in for the talk. But look at that, the flashbang. That is an instant sign, a telltale that Kinguin knows they're pushing long and they've been aggressive towards it. But the thing is, there's no one really watching back. It's just going to be Scream. If he goes down, they're going to be completely cut off. And the A side's left wide open. Rain, Fox, Dennis, Michael going to charge straight into the site and get this bomb down.
Look at the overview. 4 Ts, and there's no one waiting for them. Fallen's the only one who's got a chance to rotate. He's the one from B. And now Bolt's making his presence known at party. He's going to be celebrating. There's now 4 remain. Makalele equals it, though, onto Bolt. This is comfortable as the bomb now goes down. And Kinguin, they have just been gifted this site, handed to him on a silver platter. As now, the T is trying to keep this site safe. Cold Zero makes it difficult through long. And Makalele, he's actually pushed up. He wants to try and catch them out here. Going to be happening too there as Dennis onto Fallen. The AWP now out of his hands, and the Ts do continue to fall. The retake is a success. And Luminosity, they took a gamble, they took a risk, and they do just about manage to pick that up. Imagine if the T side had weapons, though.
I'm just imagining, like, if anyone goes back and looks at that round and they're colorblind and don't know the names of the teams, they'll be like, all right, so the CTs have 4 men pushed up middle. All right, that makes sense. But we had Luminosity send 3 towards Long and 2 pushed out towards B.
Yeah.
Like, they went full aggression, and they didn't really even catch him off guard. That's the funny thing. It was coming down to that front situation. Like you said, if Kinguin had guns, that could have been a different story. But unfortunately, all they had were the pistols and the armor. And Luminosity was able to pick up that round on the retake. So 10-5. It's a good first half for Luminosity, but now we're going to find out how powerful Kinguin can be on the CT side. I think this is the half for them where they can really open things up.
Absolutely. It's going to come down to that start as well. Can they have the start that they crave? That solid 3 rounds. They got it in the first half. Let's see where that pistol round does take us. I'm seeing nerves on the face of the Brazilians as well, as this is their debut. This is their debut as Luminosity, as the new roster with Cold. This is again for Kinguin. This is their first time sitting at the major. A new team formed as a team aiming at the major. That was where they set their sights. You know, when those 5 originally were formed, of course, a couple of names were different, or rather just the one, kind of deleting Delito. But those were formed because they were aiming for the major. They wanted to do something special, and they've got this far, of course, battling their way through the offline qualifiers. Can they do it? Now they're here. Securing the spot. Now they need to secure the win up against Luminosity. And 10 rounds puts them in good stead, especially if they can get those initial 3. Not something we're going to be seeing too likely on Overpass, but I mean, Kinguin managed to do it just beforehand.
I mean, Kinguin had a great start. They had a fantastic start to the entire thing. It came down to that first gun round, and not to mention how expensive players like Steel sitting tucked in on site at B made it with that CZ. You know, Kinguin weren't really able to get that control of the game, that stable comment that they wanted. And not to mention, Michael just didn't really feel, to me, that confident on the op. Again, I go down to that 1v1 aim battle between the scout and the op, where I believe it was Fawn who had the scout up against Michael at the op, and he killed him. Yeah, killed him outright. 2 shots with the scout. And you can't be missing shots like that when you're the main opper. And that's when I go back to talking about the whole double op, players of the team. Not the setup necessarily, but the fact that if your opper's not feeling confident, you can switch it back to someone else.
Here we go then. It is our second half here in our second game here on the B stream. Luminosity up against Kinguin, and the CT side are going aggressive early towards that connector area, but not gonna go for the peak just yet. This is gonna take a little bit more of a standstill, and Rain first to show face. Looking, I think he's got a good idea of where Fallen is, but Fur is in prime position to trade this one off. He's going aggressive and finds the head. Surely gonna be traded out by Fur. Not gonna happen as Scream is there as well. And the CT side, they needed to pick up this pistol round, and so far, they're 2 frags to the good.
Yeah, this is looking good for them. Bolt's going to be coming in from the backside as well. And you can see Luminosity had a decent read as well as Kinguin. Luminosity playing this one really slow and safe, knowing that they're going to be going for that. But here we go. Bolt's trying to challenge on connector, steal over towards B, towards long. They actually gave up full control of the bomb. So Luminosity can secure it with 55 seconds left to go on the clock. But they have to be careful. They don't want to be challenged up. They have to play this one very passive, not knowing exactly where they fully all are. But King with the 2-man advantage. In the pistol round, this is exactly the need to get some momentum going. Yeah,
numbers are crucial on the T side, especially here on Overpass, and losing those 2 early is going to make life very difficult for them. As everyone holding the perfect angles. Rain finds Bolts, and now just 2. Steel and Coldzera desperate to find a way into the site, but it's just been more and more difficult. Frags distributed nicely across the board for the CTs, and Coldzera, Tech9 and Kevlar, so he has a little bit of a chance. He could find 2 here. 19 points of health for Rain, does manage to get away with his life, and they are just going to be hunting him down. 19 seconds, and it looks like we're going to be seeing the 6th acquired for Kinguin. Much needed for them.
Yeah, I don't imagine Cole could do much about this. He'll take 1 kill with them, but with only 10 seconds left to go, there's no way he's going to get that bomb down. So there we go. Kinguin get the pistol round. And again, the read was phenomenal. That a great 2-man push out of Scream, and I believe it was Rain through connector, catch them off guard completely. Well, I wouldn't say catch them off guard, but winning the aim battles was important.
Exactly.
Like you could see, they were prepared for it. They had a re-peek ready for it. But they got the early aggression, and instead of continuing to be aggressive after those 2 kills, what they do? They backed away, played it safe, played it slow, realizing, guys, we need this round. We cannot mess this up. This is the major here. There's no mess-ups allowed.
Yeah, and it looks like Luminosity are looking to reset that money as well. Going for the force, got the Tech9s and the armor in hand. 3 of them as well with head armor, anticipating some rifles and SMGs rather in play. Now, where does the T-side choose to go from here? They don't want to get that early disadvantage. Losing those 2 early completely hindered them and cut them kind of out of that round. Rain on the jump for intel.
The downside of the way that Kinguin are playing this A side is that they're not using their guns to their advantage. They're not using them, keeping them at arm's length. They're not trying to go for the long-range challenges. They let the Tech9s get up close and personal, and that's where things get really dangerous. But that first smoke going to come in. It's going to allow them to push in towards site, not to mention the flashbangs. And they have all 5 men charging in. Rain and Scream, can they hold on?
This should be theirs, but Bolts has already found the entry. Fortunately, Makaleli there with the scout to respond. Scream again with the FAMAS. The T-side should be shredded here. There's just 4 points of health. Isn't going to stop Scream. Actually, it is. Bolts there with the Tech9. And hell, this is going their way. 2v2 now. Makaleli incredibly low. You could throw a paperclip at him, and he would die. And looks like it's going to be Coldzera again. This is insane. 2 each, and now it's down to a 1v1. And Makaleli thinking about the leap of faith there.
I was just thinking that. Don't hit the ground. Don't hit the ground and die.
Now, 7 points of health. 83 for Coldzera. That's 2 shots with the scout. Or aim for the head. Man. McAlady thinking about it. The pressure is mounting at the man, looking to try and keep their economy stable. coldzera holds the perfect angle, and a Luminosity fight back with the second round on the second half.
That could have gone really bad for Luminosity too, because they had the great smoke off towards Bank and towards Stairs to stop them from seeing them come out long, but they didn't have another smoke over towards Optimus to allow the cross through into side to get the save plant down. Scream, he got overrun, and if he just would have stayed alive, he could have shut down that push, but Luminosity investment, it pays off for him. They lose the pistol, they pick up the second round, and they're forcing Kinguin to just be on pistols, and yeah, Scream even with head armor on this one, that's actually a little bit interesting out of him to go for that, because now he's sitting on 0 money. The rest of his team has, 12 to 1700.
Yeah, that was such a crucial round. Kinguin needed that one. Letting that slip has almost cost them this one, because Luminosity, they're going to start rolling now. Unless Kinguin can kind of respond straight away.
And you're already seeing like a difference between the two teams. Like T-side Luminosity, what are they doing? They're sitting back, they're letting Kinguin push and get aggressive, catch him off, pick up a kill, and then work off that. On the other side, Kinguin, they were playing a lot of men towards one side. They weren't watching for these pushes, and Luminosity were able to get behind them constantly. Yes, it's not really a buy round, so we can't really look at it too much just yet. But when we get into that one, it's going to be interesting to see if Kinguin are going to play and steal. Again, just waiting for them to push, waiting for them to get aggressive and catch them off guard.
Yeah, I mean, you can tell that's exactly what Kinguin go into this one saying, like, let's get a couple of weapons and start rolling. But the T side a little too wise for that trickery. As Boltz has actually got his own signed Galil. You can see that. He's got his own Sharpie out and signed his Galil. But coldzera in the meantime finding Scream, and this should most definitely be a comfortable 12.
And I like the way Luminosity are playing this one. It's just so smart. Like, they're not going for any 1v1 challenges. They're going for like the 2v1 so they can win out like flat, right? Yeah. Go for the trade, if anything. Don't allow them to pick up a gun. Keep a stable economy. They haven't lost a single man. They've barely lost any health in this round. And now Michael is going to be up 1v5. He maybe will get a kill, but there's no way he can win the round.
coldzera has actually risen through the ranks of that scoreboard as well, as he now finds himself at the middle. He was sitting a little lower down beforehand, but it's all just a bit of a team effort at this point. He's got a FAMAS, and he's desperately trying to keep himself in it. Fallen says no, though, with the scout, and that's going to be 12-6 then, the score. As Kinguin, they're running out of room to maneuver here.
They are. They don't really have many rounds that they can throw away. In terms of being able to buy up in this round, well, they're not really sitting too pretty. They're going to have to just go on pistols yet again. Okay. So if Luminosity played out like they did last time, they're looking at 13-6.
So where do you go? You're in Kinguin's shoes, 12-6 with just a couple of P250s. They've tried going aggressive. Do you stack? Do you mix it up? What is their plan?
I mean, this round, I think it's more about information gathering. They're sending 3 people out towards long. They're trying to figure out how Luminosity are playing. It's kind of hard to say, what they should do when they haven't been able to have a gun round just yet. It's really difficult to say, the way that Luminosity are going to play this one when it does come to fruition. But I think a stack in this round wouldn't be a bad thing. I mean, they have 3 men towards long. Unfortunately, Luminosity really aren't walking that direction just yet. Again, they're playing this one so slow. They have so much time to work with, and they're being very wise about how they use their time.
Absolutely. Now, bomb returning to the hands of Fallen. They're looking to maybe set their sights on towards B. Scream's the one holding it, but this stack from long, they're being so consistent, so persistent rather, in towards long. And I think finally, 54 seconds left in the round, we might see Boltz challenge. Flash comes in, they do manage to evade it, but they weren't anticipating the second. That's a fully flashed Dennis hiding behind the rock. coldzera finds him. Looks like he's going to be pushed back, but not enough. That's a double. It could very well be 3. It is! coldzera just turrets 3 in long, and it's going to be all too easy then, as Fox on the prowl, hoping to try and find just one. Fox v Fur, battle of the 3 letters. And it's going to be Fox who's just going to get a consolation prize. And surely Fallen going to be able to wrap this one up, or not. Bomb now loose, and he's got 17 points of health. Fortunately, Boltz is there to mop up their mistakes and put that one under the rug. 13-6 though, as Kinguin, it's time for some weapons, and it's time for them to try and claw this one back.
That read out of Luminosity, just the... Not the one flash, yeah, okay, that's good. The second flash, though, to catch him when they go for like the turnaround was phenomenal and cold to just keep his, to say very cool in that face of adversity. Picking up 3 kills, only like 6 HP was very well done by him. But like you said, the gun run's coming in. Mike Lilly finally has the op, and we're going to see how Kinguin are going to play this one. They have Mike Lilly pushing towards long. They're trying to get some early short control with that Molotov, or at least faking it out, as you see Luminosity not committing to it. But now Luminosity are picking up the pace a little bit more. I wonder if they're going to challenge it on long. They have fun with the op, so they could go for it. But is there a need to, is the question.
I mean, McAlady versus Fallen, I don't know who I'd hedge my bets on, especially considering how well both of them have been performing. More so we've seen McAlady with the rifle than the AWP, but there's always a time for him to shine. Doesn't quite connect the shots. He was challenged down. He's going to throw a flash and go for the repeat. A flash of theirs, though, does return the favor, and this is quite literally just a back and forth to and fro. I think McAlady makes the wise decision to get out of there and stay out of dodge. Still, though, the T site, it feels like Luminosity's T side has been a whole lot more control-based. They just slowly, process of elimination, work their way through the map.
They're slowly like, just like strangling them. Like every time they try to get aggressive, Kinguin, they can't play their own style because of this. And they're constantly being picked off one by one. And you can see like the flashes they're throwing, Luminosity, the smokes they're throwing, are everything just set so perfectly. I mean, you can see they're off to the side. That's Bolts. He's just setting up for a smoke here to block off Michaelelli or block off towards stairs. But Scream and Rain are pushed up towards bathrooms. And we might see them just kind of push straight through to not allow Luminosity to get this 3-2 split on the A site.
We saw how powerful control of restrooms can be, and it looks like it's going to be just the same for Rain. They're all around him. He connects through the smoke, but in the meantime, Rain doesn't manage to fall too many of the T side. It's back and forth we go, though. 3v2 numbers favoring the attackers, as Dennis and Fox have it all to do. No nades, just the rifles for them. As here comes the hunt. Dennis pays a heavy price down to 1, but he did find Steel in the process. And now 2v2 made 2v1 by Fallen, creeping and crawling his way through the toilets. And now Dennis, with just 1, has to do it all. Not looking too likely, and I think he realizes that as well, as he is backing away, trying to keep that M4 safe and sound. But that's going to be 14.
That always scares me. That always scares the hell out of me when you see someone on low life jumping through there.
It's that magical no damage water. You got to buy a bottle of that sometime.
Well, Dennis, he's looking to save, and Fallen's going to go for the challenge, but he's on like 17 HP. I don't think there's a real reason for him to go straight out on this one, so they're just going to save their guns. But again, the execute was so well done. They forced... Okay, so think about how the round started, right? Michael was pushed up long, they flashed him, pulled him out of position. Then they started to get a little more aggressive towards long. It forced him back towards the APC, back towards truck, towards bank. They smoked him off, which made him jump to go for the information. He got the tag, I think that was onto Fallen, but then Fallen gets him through the smoke after that. And he goes down. Like, they're constantly controlling and forcing Kinguin back further and further and further, allowing to get more control of the map.
You said they were strangling them. And I mean, picking up just the first round. Kinguin, they started as they meant to go on. But from there, they haven't been able to acquire a single round here on the CT side of Overpass. Stark contrast to what we saw from Luminosity. As Michaelelli's investment could be very, very profitable here if he plays it right. Gat jumping for intel as well, as it looks like the CT side have got a good idea of where they want to go from here. Scream again pushing up aggressive. It's something that the CT side needs to be doing more and more of to kind of limit what Luminosity have been bringing to the table. But plenty of time, and so far, time control from Luminosity has been very, very comfortable.
Like, everything they've been doing has been working. You can see Kinguin, like, they're constantly changing things up, right? Like, they're pushing up middle, getting aggressive. They're pushing up long. They're trying to gather information. But every time they do that, Luminosity either pick up some kills or don't give them any of that crucial info. But look at this, Michaelelli in the perfect spot, gets the first.
Oh, but he pushes up while picking up the AK. And Bolt put him in his place. That looked like a very prime position to be in, and now Dennis and Fox are readying themselves for this hold on towards B. 40 setting their sights on this site. Scream's there to kind of hold his hand to some degree, but he is in upper. And Dennis makes his whereabouts known. Bolts is considering the plant as well, but Fallen's doing all the work for him with the AWP in the meantime. These CTs need this site, but Bolts snatches another one away from them. Just 2, kicking and screaming. Desperate to keep 15 away. Bomb in 35 seconds then for 2 CTs to do it all. Not going to happen lightly. T-side holding steady, and Bolts is just continuing to make it difficult. This is another round for Luminosity and Kinguin. They've been given chances. This was their 4th. And it's not going to be happening yet again.
And he's pointed out, like, Bolts, he had the bomb, he could have planted, but instead of going for the plant, he goes for the challenge. He's like, you know what? Let's just turn this, 4v or this 5v3 or 5v4 into a 5v3, and let's just kind of make you sit back already. Rain, I think he's going to get 1 kill, maybe a second. But with 12 HP, he's not really going to be able to accomplish too much off the back, especially when Luminosity have so much economy to work with. But they played that one so smart. And now they are 1 round away from getting through into the winner's match. 15-6 up against Kinguin.
Kinguin's debut has looked a little flat, and that's all down to the fantastic play from Luminosity, looking just downright clinical on some of these holds. And I say holds, that's right, when the bomb goes down, those sites have not been retaken at all, looking very, very pure once they get that bomb down. Now, though, let's see where they choose to go with those rifles. Just 3 FAMAS for the CT side. A flash between them. Just 1 nade is all they have to work with. So it's going to come down to fragging capacity. Something they don't lack. Nice, though, as Furt does manage to get away with his life. Not same can't be said for coldzera, though, as it's a 4v4 for now. But the bomb is loose.
Yeah, they did what worked for him in the pistol round. Pushing people straight through into connector, but they're still down a man.
3 frags away from picking up the first one here. This is how Luminosity aim to start. Starting not necessarily just with a win, but winning with a convincing win against a team like Kinguin, who have been a bit of a question mark to critics. Some expecting to see them really rise through the ranks here at the Major. Others expecting them to be presenting results like this. It looks like answers are being provided here in Cologne. Makalele, Scream, and Rain have it all to do, and they're kind of in the palms of Luminosity now. They are the ones that can call the shots, and they've called it beautifully. The bomb is going to be going down. Perfect smoke as well, completely obscuring Makalele. He needs to connect the shots, and he doesn't. Just a little tag on towards the feet of Bolts. And now Scream trying to claw things back. Not looking likely. Steal onto Rain then. That Steel's going to just fire a warning shot towards his teammate. Maybe a small minor celebration. Bolts again. He's been so instrumental in this win. And I say win. Makalele falls. Bolts again. And Luminosity have done it in style. 16-6 the score at the end of that one.
Well done by them. They definitely deserve that one. I think everyone's wondering about how they perform coming to this major has been proven. Like, they have been playing so phenomenal through boot camp, what we've been hearing. We see it here as well. 16-6 score on Overpass is not an easy feat, especially against a team like Kinguin, who have so many all-star players, so many so much individual skill. But you can see the time that they put in has paid off for Luminosity, and now they're going up against Envious in the next game to see which is the first team through into the quarterfinal. And that's going to be played in the LAN6 Arena. That's going to be played with 1,000 people sitting there at home, and in the stadium, and so you can take home a big chunk of that $250,000.
Yeah, it's pretty insane, really. Absolutely kind of terrifying to think just how, like, one win like that takes them just heads and shoulders above Kinguin. And it was a hard-fought battle. We saw that they really had a kind of cool, calm, collected attitudes as well. A team that have kind of come into this one being a little bit more of a question mark. They've made majors before, of course, having that legend spot, but now they're looking to try and see how far they can take this one. Fantastic game to cast as well. Whew, take a big exhale, Jason, as that one wraps up.
I feel like they didn't show anything too crazy either. Like, it was nothing, you know, over the top. They didn't show anything special. It was just really standard play on the T side. I think CT side, what showed was that their confidence and the ability for them to kind of read the way Kinguin are playing. Like, again, you know, I don't want to, you know, harp on it too much, but the way Kinguin gave up control. Like, if you look at Luminosity and Kinguin on their T side alone, Kinguin didn't bother watching for the pushes towards long or towards fountain. After that certain point of the game, they kind of just gave up that control. And Luminosity constantly punished that time and time again. It's just Kinguin, they wanted to play a little bit more fast-paced than I think Luminosity wanted to let them play. And because of that, I mean, they ended that kind of scoreline. That was just really well done.
I mean, 16-3, now 16-6. We've seen some real kind of... I mean, what do you expect? It's a group stage, but we came into this one. I cannot explain just how excited I was to see the debut of Kinguin versus Luminosity. I was expecting, like, overtime. Give me an overtime, please. I will be so ready to cast that. But, again, equally as exciting, seeing Luminosity on form. Something that, again, Jason will kind of, you know, keep harping on about it, but there's a real reason to it, is that Luminosity were beating everyone over at boot camp. How much can boot camp be kind of brought into the major, we'll see. But already, good signs from the Brazilians. More stuff is going on right now, though, guys. I have to keep reminding you, the A stream is going on as well. ESL_CSGO, Renegades up against TSM. They started well. Things have gone a little downhill for the Aussies, but we will be back. I say we. It'll be Pansy and Henry G bringing you the next game. Virtus Pro versus Immunity. Stay tuned.